Well, hi there. Welcome to my garage. We're just a few days away from being able to execute a 3-day road trip on the Spyder. When I say we, I mean me and you. Miriam will not be tagging along because of our work schedule. I'm actually going to try to pull this off during the week. It's the only way I can make my work schedule and the weather mesh so we can actually do this. Now, the reason I'm doing this trip is to find out how much time I can spend in the saddle day in and day out on a long trip in preparation for the coast-to-coast trip we plan on doing next spring, and to test out the load that of all the equipment that I'm going to take on the trip. I'm going to carry pretty much everything I'm going to take on the cross-country trip with the exception of the food. I'm only going to take a few days supply of food in comparison to the approximately 4 days supply I'm going to leave home with. Now, a little bit of update about the actual coast-to-coast motorcycle trip. The way it looks right now, I will actually drive the motorcycle from the East Coast to the West Coast solo. Miriam will join me in California. She'll fly out there commercially. It's going to make it a lot easier for logistics and for her schedule also. Then we'll have a base of operations. We're hopefully getting something in the Yosemite National Park area, and then tour that region to include Yosemite, the coast, and the wine country. And I know that just a few days in Yosemite isn't going to be quite enough. Probably it's a crime to try to even do that, but that's really all the time we have to throw at it. And then we will fly home together. Ship the Spyder. And why am I going to ship the Spyder instead of driving it home? Well, actually it would take too much additional time from my schedule to actually drive it home, and I simply don't have that much time. And it's actually cheaper to ship the Spyder back than it is to drive it back. Now, in preparation for this 3-day trip, I went ahead and replaced the rear tire on the Spyder. This tire had about 11,000 miles on it. My research indicates the average life expectancy is about 7,000, so no complaints there. My folks at my local Can-Am Spyder dealer at All Out Cycles in Chesapeake hooked me up, gave me really good service and a fair price. The rear tire looks really good, and I think it's going to give me a lot of service. Oh, by the way, take a look at these sexy new personalized plates we now have for the Spyder. So I want to take a minute to talk about some of the things we're going to be carrying with us and how we're going to configure the load for this upcoming trip. I'm going to try to mirror everything I'm going to take on the big trip next spring. The only exception is the actual consumables, the food. I won't be carrying the same amount of food that I'm going to take with me when I leave out of here next spring. We're going to mount the GoPro in several places to get a couple of good shots while we're on the road. I've got a shoulder mount that I've manufactured to go onto my little backpack with my Camelback water reservoir that will get forward shots. And I've got the GoPro mounted here for looking back at me shots when I'm doing some narration. That, along with the camera that I'm now using to shoot this video and my small handheld camcorder, should be sufficient. We're taking all of those for the trip, and we're looking forward to it. So let me show you what we're going to be taking.
I like to use our spare bedroom as sort of a staging area for all my trips and shooting a lot of my videos. I find that laying things out on a bed helps me keep my stuff organized. Matter of fact, when we travel, if we have an option of 2 beds in our accommodations, I like to get the 2 beds, use one for sleeping and one for laying my gear out so I can keep track of it. Just makes me a little bit better organized. So this is the gear that I plan on taking on the 3-day trip next week, and this pretty much reflects what I'll be taking with me on the coast-to-coast trip next spring. Now, this is just the gear that's going to be inside the Spyder, not the stuff I'm going to have on. So let's start over here on the right side, the food group. Start off with coffee, all-important coffee. I've got some sweetener and some instant coffee in case I want to pull over and just heat some water and have a quick cup on the road. Some sports bars, some Tabasco. Why Tabasco? Tabasco don't need a reason. Some chicken spread. I love this stuff. With some crackers. Now, I don't have any crackers laying here, but they'll be packed also. I just haven't bought them yet. Canned chicken breast and some Uncle Ben's ready rice. So this rice is already cooked. It's in a pouch. It's a little dry. You can add some water to it and heat it up if you want to, either in a microwave or stick it into a pot of hot water. Add some chicken breast and you've got a complete meal. Some Spam to go with my eggs in the morning. Now, the eggs will not be in any type of refrigerated or cooler to keep them fresh. Research has shown that fresh eggs will stay fresh for up to 2 weeks without refrigeration. Now, the things you buy at the store have already been probably 2 weeks old when you finally get them. We buy our eggs at the local farmer's market most of the time, so we know that they're pretty fresh. So the 3 days for this trip will not be a problem, and it will take me about a week to go through a dozen eggs anyway, so next spring, carrying fresh eggs without refrigeration should not be a problem. Okay, some olives, so if I just want to snack, some, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Now we're going to move over to the electronics group. This will be stored, all this is going to be stored in the front area of the Spyder, a food bag and the electronics bag. Tripod, shotgun mic for the camera, chargers, GoPro equipment, extra GoPro batteries, Ethernet cable for downloading the videos or uploading the videos to the cloud, power supply for the laptop, and a notebook for just keeping track of all my documentation for the trip and writing out my scripts that I want to use or notes that I want to have when I shoot the videos. This all goes in the forward area. Now the right and left panniers, when you get the Spyder RT limited edition, it comes standard with these nice bags with shoulder straps. You could also order them aftermarket if your Spyder doesn't happen to have these. They're contoured to fit the inside of the compartment, and they're perfect for planning your loading of the equipment. This in particular will have my clothing and my toilet kit. This will go with that on one side of the Spyder. This is my Gore-Tex pants for the rain. This is the kitchen kit, which you've seen the video for. If not, there's a video on what I carry with me in my kitchen kit, my utility kit, and a Ziploc bag full of Ziploc bags, because you just can't have too many Ziploc bags. Right and left side panniers. Now, forward area. I'm sorry. Now, this is actually a nice chair. I'm going to do a demo on the chair later. This will actually go in the forward area with the food bag and the electronics bag. But this will go in the forward area with it. This is going to go in the rear area, rear storage area, which is easy to access. My red bag, which is basically a man purse, I always carry with me. Little things need along the way, an extra GoPro battery that's not buried in all my equipment, so if I need one of those, phone charger, that sort of thing. Toolkit, the Spyder actually has a toolkit that comes with the Spyder up under the seat, which has all the screwdrivers and all the wrenches for accessing all the components. What it doesn't have is some jumper cables and a tire repair kit. This, in case I have a flat, I have a kit here. I'm also going to carry a can of stop leak for the tire, which is in the garage. I just didn't lay it down here yet. Now this is a handy little item right here. This is actually an air compressor. It's a tiny little thing. You use my little mini mag as to get an idea of the size. Ordered this off of Amazon. I believe it was like 19, 20 bucks, something like that. And I have removed the cigarette lighter power supply because the fuse on the cigarette lighter on the Spyder does not support the amperage that I need to power the compressor. So I've removed it, and I have a adapter rigged to the battery, and this plugs right into the adapter and powers the compressor. It doesn't have to go through a circuit breaker or a fuse. So that's a handy little thing. Med kit, my windshield cleaning kit, a little bit of windshield cleaning fluid and a rag. The small video camera, the large video camera, and of course the GoPro goes on top. So that's basically the equipment that we're going to carry on the trip on the outside. Now obviously we're going to have writing gear and clothing and things like that, which I'll probably talk about a little bit more on the trip. So that pretty much includes what we're going to be taking inside the Spyder.
So that summarizes the equipment we're going to take with one more item. One of our viewers, Joe Spyder, recommended I look at getting a product called Ride-On. Did some research. It's definitely a highly recommended product. And Joe, I did buy some. However, I didn't read the instructions until I actually got the back tire installed, because then I was going to put the product in all the tires, and I realized I don't have enough. This is enough for one of my front tires. Need to order some more. So for this trip, I'm just going to carry a can of Fix-A-Flat for this trip. But this will be in once I get back and have time to actually order more and have it installed. So the only thing remains is, where am I going to go for this 3-day trip? I don't know. I know I'm going to go westerly, but I don't think I have a fixed plan. I want to do something that's going to hit my goals so I can get the mileage in, so I can evaluate my gear, my loading, and get the mileage, and be something scenic that I can shoot some good video to put on YouTube. And if you think that's a little frustrating for me, my poor wife Miriam said, let me see if I get this straight. You're going to be gone for 3 days, but you don't know exactly where you're going. Right. No, actually, she's been really supportive about this. She just wants to know that we're going to be safe. I'm going to be safe on the trip. So that pretty much wraps up the video for today. If you have any comments, please leave them in the remarks section below. And if you would and you haven't done so yet, please click on that subscribe button. It makes us very happy and gives us a little bit more motivation to keep making these videos, which we already enjoy making. So, thanks for watching, and you all take care.